Welcome back to Balderdash Academy. We have visiting Professor Alisa Rosenthal, musician, comedian, MC, whatever you need, she can do it for you. Tonight, we have 4 questions and the answer to give me the details. What change did they make to the ending of Fight Club for the Chinese market? We will get to that. But first...
Oh, there's the but first.
You always go butt first.
Butt first.
Balderdash Academy, competitive comedy. Good for your health like a yearly colonoscopy. Bring a flask, don't forget your hall pass. If you need a laugh, let me introduce the school staff. Marie Stewart Harmon teaches home economics. See her after class for some home brewed tonics. Sex with me is like Nate Green, cause finishing on top is his normal routine. Coach Steve brings the show sports knowledge, but he's bad at portmanteaus cause he didn't go to college. Molly McGill spits words like an Uzi. She wins every game but can't name a single movie. They call him Brady Hunt, the theater guru. He'll always almost win like deja vu do. Carla Rose Dubois, you better watch your back. She's notoriously known for teaching music facts. And Baba Blanc gets no disrespect. Don't talk back, cause he's technically correct. Yes, let's go. Balderdash Academy, baby. Alright, sit down, class is starting.
Our points are, in last place, we have Nate valiantly holding on with negative 200 points. Next, we have myself with 0, Marie with half a point, Carla Rose with 10 points, Molly with 1,000, and in the lead, once again, our visiting professor, Alisa Rosenthal, who is the first visiting professor to actually understand the game.
How does she do it, folks? How does she do it?
So, Alisa, before we move on to the 4 questions, it's time for 30 seconds or less. Now, I will spin an ice-breaking question from our Balderdash randomizer, at which point Alisa will try to answer it in 30 seconds or less. Our question is...
Go big money!
Question number 2, Nate. Nobody
Yeah.
knows what they are. Other than Plucky Rosenthal's daffy and sweetly outlandish music, to quote the Chicago Tribune,
Love it.
what other artist should we be listening to? So, Alisa, what other artist do you think we should be listening to?
Yeah, hook it up. I need some new tunes.
This is for you.
And is this what I put in my questionnaire of other
Not
musicians?
at all.
You're on the spot,
It's
baby.
me,
I want to
isn't
know,
it?
what's some of your favorite musicians? What are some people that you love that we should know about?
One of my favorite bands is a 70s and 80s era band called The Roaches. Their last name, Roche. And they did a great song called Hammond Song that pops up all the time. It's 3 sisters. They're real quirky and funny. I like bands that are kind of like, are we funny? Are we music? That's my sweet spot.
Nice.
So I'm on a big kick of the band Sparks at the moment. Good documentary just came out about them.
Yeah, just
Sparks
came out.
Brothers. Yeah, recommend. Again, are we theater? Are we music? This has been my life's quandary.
Rhythm? Where are we doing?
It's a great answer. Over the pandemic, Alisa, you took up roller skating. You love the New York Times games, any New York Times games. Wordle, Oscar are your sports. So, in honor of your likes, tonight's 4 questions I will call Plucky Rosenthal's Guide to Surviving the Pandemic.
Love it. Let's do it.
Okay.
So now, whichever one of our faculty members gives the best, not necessarily the correct, but the best answer, Alisa will award points. Our first question. In the mid-18th century, inventor John Joseph Merlin attached inline wheels to shoes to do what? So the person who invented roller skates in the 18th century, 1760s is what they estimate, did so for what reason? Carla Rose, why did he invent roller skates?
This was, I think I read about this. This was well documented, this scenario in Herodotus. He writes about it, the Greek guy. He writes about in the 1800s, there was this guy, and there was this frog-like creature that was going extinct. And so they needed the tadpoles, to be able to get from vernal pool to vernal pool. So they made a little shoe for the tadpole, little phalange, and they had little wings, so like little wheels, so they were able to roll down the road and get to the next vernal pool before it dried up, to therefore ensure the continuation of the species.
I don't care
I
if
think it
that's
was a
true or
fraggle.
not. I'm going to call them tadpole shoes from now on. Like, that's their
Yes.
new names. Nate, why did he invent roller skates?
Oh, yeah, it was kind of so his job was to clean up the streets of horse dung. It was backbreaking work, but he was a pioneer. So he and his friend John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt got together and made these. So that way he could, a horse would pull him while he would scoop it up. He would scoop up the poop from the road, and then he would fling it over his head, and John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt behind him would catch it. It was actually the first episode of Family Double Dare that was going on.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mark Summers was there hosting. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, he has been on television for decades. That makes sense.
He has. Yeah.
That makes sense. And it makes sense why he would call them roller skates when the shovel was called the Jingleheimer shit. Marie, what would you say was the reason that he invented roller skates?
Nate was on to something with the pulling. However, it was because Mr. Merlin kept having too many beverages at the town pub, and his wife was very, very small. She was a very tiny lady, and he ran out of friends to carry him home. So the bartender would tin can telephone to his wife, and she'd come over and she'd bring him his little rolly shoes, and he'd put his little rolly shoes on, and she'd just roll him home.
All right, so wife-propelled taxi. So Molly, why did he invent roller skates?
Well, geez, I'm Crow, I'll tell you. Waiting over here. People don't know this, but he was actually the original sandwich artist that began the whole Subway sandwich shop theme of making the sandwiches right in front of you. One of the hardest, most difficult things to do was he couldn't figure out how to exactly cut the bread because it was so darn tough back in those days. They weren't kneading it enough. They needed more kneading. So what he did was he invented these inline skates so that when they were done creating the sandwich, they could just lay the huge baguettes on the floor and go right over them. Now, why do they do roller skates with four wheels? Paninis, everybody.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. That
Pre-Jared, I guess.
That was
so
a
Alisa,
very
we
Steve
have
answer.
the reason why roller skates were invented. Carla Rose, they were tadpole shoes. Yeah. Nate to scoop up poop. Marie as a wife-propelled means of conveyance, and Molly to cut the bread. We have four-wheeled now because paninis. How would you like to score?
Okay, I have mad pandering points to hand out, everybody. I want to give Carla Rose 10 points for frog phalanges. That was real cute. I really like that. Yeah, absolute science. My favorite was Marie's pushing. Was it his wife got too drunk and he had to push her, or was it vice versa?
Either. It could have been for either of them. Sometimes she needed, and he was a big man, she was a small lady. I mean,
to me that feels plausible, silly but plausible.
Yeah.
So I want to give 1,900 points. I really like it.
1,900.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then Bob, I want to put Bob on the board here for Jingleheimer shit.
Yep.
Negative 800.
Woo!
You know what? I disagree with that. I'm going to give myself an additional negative 800 because that was bad. So there you go, little headmaster adjustment to the score there.
Two negatives do make a negative in this case.
Two negatives do make a negative in this case, yeah.
And you know
So
what? I've been working really hard, so just like throw on a quick like 600 for me.
of course, 600.
Yes, I agree.
All
You
right.
should definitely.
Water.
All right. So why did John Joseph Merlin invent roller skates? Well, he did so to crash a party with his violin.
Oh.
And
yeah.
he literally
Wait, what?
did. I'm going to read this to you. This is a quote from Thomas Busby's Concert Room and Orchestra Anecdotes from 1805. He writes, when not having provided the means of retarding his velocity or commanding its direction, he impelled himself against a mirror of more than 500 pounds value, dashed it to atoms, broke his instrument to pieces, and wounded himself most severely.
Hell of an entrance.
Oh, no. Violence is never the answer.
So, invented roller skates, didn't figure out how to use them before deciding to take his expensive guitar or violin to a party. So, our next question.
So wait, can we just comment on how he tried to Kool-Aid Man himself?
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
mirror.
Which makes me wonder if the Kool-Aid Man is actually based on him.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah, and a
What
lot of bad
wasn't
luck.
listed in that anecdote was, did he go, oh yeah? We don't know.
I'm going to guess.
Now, I only have a degree in theater, but I'm going to guess it didn't happen.
Well, Carla Rose is the archaeologist of the group. Carla Rose.
Oh, wait, I have
What's
more
the
points.
over-under on the oh yeah?
No, that's etymology. That's true. That's true to his species. Yeah, that's science. More science. Although I'd like to imagine him playing the violin faster as he sped up.
And that's how we have Flight of the Bumblebee.
Makes perfect sense.
No, I forgot. I really liked Molly's panini. I feel like that is also plausible that roller skates could be a panini press. So 0.5 points.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Nice.
You're welcome.
0.5 points. If anybody on YouTube wants to go ahead and make panini or bread cutting roller skates, you heard it here first. Just remember that. Our next
Yeah.
question. The New York Times crossword puzzle first began in February of 1942. It wasn't always well received by the paper. In 1924, the paper called the crossword puzzle what? So what did the New York Times refer to the crossword puzzle as in 1924, 4 years after it was invented? Nate, what did they call it?
Bob.
I mean, it's an odd name for a puzzle, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
All right. Marie, what did they say about the crossword puzzle? What did they call it?
At the time, it was the Elzoop. Because they wanted to like keep people on their toes, infer that it was a puzzle, but like, is it?
All right. The Elzoop. Molly, what's your answer? What do you got?
Marie's close. It's actually the IDGAF. The I don't give a if you do it or not. You're like, I don't give do it if you want to. Don't IDGAF it up. Original of the acronym
Okay.
right there.
Carla
not
Rose?
Teenage girls.
What do you got?
I think I got a Balderdash Academy first. I am going to concur with Nate that it was called Bob because in that first iteration, it was entirely comprised of palindromes.
That makes
On
sense.
the Bob.
That makes sense. So we have what in 1924 the New York Times called the crossword puzzle what? Nate said Bob. Marie says Elzup. Molly says IDJF. And Carla Rose said Bob also. So Alisa, how would you like to score?
Okay, well, you know, Carla Rose, you're in luck because I was planning on giving Nate some points because I felt so bad that I had given him so many negative points. So Nate, I know you were I feel like I've been hard on you with the points that I've given you. So I would like to give Nate for winning that round 7 shiny points. And it's
thank
only
you.
fair that since Carla Rose gave the same answer, she gets like an easy 85.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Plagiarism is great.
Just for the balance of it, you know?
Piggyback points.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, what did they call the crossword puzzle? Reading them backwards, Nate called it Bob, Marie called it puzzle, Molly called it the Fajdi, and Carla Rose called it the Bob. The actual answer, in 1924, in an opinion piece, they referred to the crossword as a primitive sort of mental exercise.
That rolls right off the tongue.
That was
And I know
gas.
there's
There you go.
Those are hard.
as a lover of the New York Times crossword puzzle, I have read the graphic novelization of the creation of the New York Times crossword puzzle, which is a book called Fun. And I wish I could remember the exact quote.
enough.
Yeah, but when they brought on some new editor, the editor before said something to the effect of like, people are really gonna care about this puzzle. Like, it's frivolous and people know that it's frivolous, but people also have very big opinions on the puzzle. And as someone who reads the wordplay blog every day, like, I don't know anything about caring too much or having big opinions on the New York Times crossword puzzle, but I guess the editors thought people would care.
So speaking of people caring about things and things taking the world by storm, Wordle
Yeah.
follows in a long line of word games, most notably the game Lingo. But what I want to know is, how did Wordle get its name?
Oh.
How did Wordle get its name? Marie, you are obviously the expert. I can tell as
Yeah,
you're holding your face,
I
trying to prevent the
definitely-
answer from coming out.
I was trying to keep it in because I know it's so fast. So if you've ever been to the Boston Aquarium, there is this glorious sea turtle there named Myrtle. And she has been there for 80 something years. They don't even know exactly how old Myrtle is. And so one of the initial caretakers of Myrtle, they were found just doodling all the time. So one day somebody looked over their shoulder and they realized that it was this like very complex word jumble. And they were like, hey friend, what are you doing? And they're like, Myrtle, turtle, Wordle, Myrtle, turtle, Wordle. And so that's how, he only said a few things, but he wrote down a lot.
All right. Myrtle, Turtle, Wordle. That makes sense. Molly, how did it get its name? What is it named after?
It was a vicious rock, paper, scissors tournament. And it was against, there was 5 people playing it. It came to blows. There was blood. I'm not going to lie. There was some missing teeth at the end. And somebody really wanted it to be called Wordle, like warts. But they're like, dude, it's 5-letter words, you idiot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. And, what can I say? Last person standing named it.
All right. A bloody Rochambeau. Carla Rose, what do you got?
Well, gosh, based on what I've read about the origins of Wordle, is that it started in the 1700s in France. And actually, if you think about the game, it's letters that are all scrambled up, and then you have to make the word out of it. Well, the name Wordle is actually scrambled up, le word. So, which gives an homage to its French origins. So it's
Alright.
the word. scrambled.
The
So it's just
word.
throwing letters in there and shaking them around like baskets on a beheading. All right, Nate, what do you got?
So I chuckled when you started telling your answer, Carla Rose, because it really is close to mine. But since you pretty much copied mine last time, I'm going to just go for it.
Fair.
So everybody
like a
knows everybody knows American history thanks to Hamilton. And everybody knows Thomas Jefferson went to France. So he brought over the word games. I think Ulysses S. Grant or something was really got into it, and he started it. Thomas Jefferson prior to that, went over and brought it over, and he's like, "Oh, word games." They're like, "I don't get it." So he's like, "Wordle," and they're like, "Oh, Wordle." So Wordle came, and then he came back, and we just turned it to Werdle. Speaking of which, I don't even know where I can find that game because I can't find it on the App Store, and I don't know how to play. Everybody's playing it. What?
Everyone's posting about it. I still don't know what it is.
I don't know where is it.
We'll have a link to it in the description.
It's on the internet.
Thank you. I'll need to
An
watch.
affiliate link.
All right. So, I mean, the question is, where did Wordle get its name? Marie, Wordle was named after Myrtle, which, ironically, Myrtle, they estimate, was born in about 1924, the same year that quote about the New York Times crossword puzzle came out.
See
So
what
Myrtle
I'm
the Turtle was
saying?
named Aquarium. Yeah. Molly, rock, paper, scissors, a bloody game of rock, paper, scissors, and Wordle
Vicious.
won.
Blood.
Carla Rose, the 18th century Wordle.
Le word.
Le word. Wordle. It's a word scramble. And Nate, American History's Thomas Jefferson, who brought it back with Wordle. Which no, Thomas Jefferson probably meant something completely different. So, those are the answers. We got Myrtle, Turtle, Wordle, a 5-letter word, Rochambeau, Le Word, and Wordle. Alisa, how would you like to score?
Okay, I'm really excited about this one because as any other Wordle fan knows, all you want to do is talk about Wordle. So this is just making all my dreams come true. Also, as any Wordle fan knows, you've read the New York Times accompanying piece of how it got its name. So I do know the answer to this, which made your stories each so special, so wonderful, and so far off across the board that I have a lot of points to hand out. Okay, now, Nate, you are in luck because I really liked Carla Rose's answer, but then you didn't say the same thing, so you're out of luck now.
Do I at least get negative points?
Don't beg, Nate. Don't beg.
How many negative points would you like, Nate?
My goal, I'm actually aiming to have the lowest score in history. So you name it and I'll take it.
Okay, we'll try to get you a little closer to that goal, like negative 1,000. Does that help?
That works.
Okay, great. Carla Rose, your answer was so funny. I loved the word. I loved the yarn you spun, the journey you took me on. I want to hand out a sweet 2,000 points.
Wow.
I like that one. Yeah.
Nice.
And then I want to add some honorary points for Marie's Myrtle, which I also thought was very, very cute.
She's so sweet.
Yeah, you got it. Just like an easy, I don't know, none of these matter anymore. 95 points?
Great. Yeah.
Good. And Bob, I feel like you should just lose a couple points. I don't know why. I just feel like you should. Maybe like 5. Take 5 off.
Good. Finally, I'm not the only one that feels that way.
I'm just going to stay quiet over here.
For knowing the correct answer, I think it's only fair that I get like 1,700.
Wait, I know the correct answer.
All right.
Can I get points? Pandering points. It's Josh Werdle. It's based on his name. He created the game for his girlfriend as a gift because he forgot to get her a gift. So he created the game. His name is Jeff Werdle. Wardle.
Let other people
So
win, Molly.
He created
And give me a
he
point.
created a game for his girlfriend and then named it after himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really
Sounds
kind
about
of
right.
him.
Yeah, that's the right answer. It was named after Wordle's creator, Josh Werdle.
And you know, for pandering, Molly, you get 5 sweet points.
Yes.
So,
I love that.
5
So sweet.
sweet points. Speaking of sweet, the sports event of the year, we have the official name of the Academy Award trophy is the Academy Award of Merit. Where did the name Oscar come from? Molly, where did the name Oscar come from? Why do they call it the Oscar?
Well, it originated because of course, the world's best hot dog. Duh. OSCAR. My hot dog has a last name, MEYER. But you can't really top anything better than a hot dog, and so they're like, you know what, guys? Like, if we're gonna score things, let's have some sort of threshold. The threshold being the Oscar Mayer wiener. And I don't know if you know, in the statue, it's all connected, guys. That's true. I can talk about it later.
All right. So, Oscar Mayer wiener, Carla Rose. What's your answer?
Actually, I think I just read about this actually a couple of days ago. It's funny. It's funny you brought that up because I had read that the Oscar originated under a bridge at a hobo camp, and back in the olden days. And there was a garbage can there, and they were trying to find something in there to award, right? And they came across this little furry guy named Oscar the Grouch. And he was like, get the hell out of my house. Okay. And they're like, but we're just looking for some sort of award that we can give. And he was like, what the hell, here? And he just handed up with his little green furry hand, a little statuette of a naked guy. I'm not asking any questions. Okay. Where he got it from or what his predilections are for little naked men. And so they named the statuette after Oscar. And then, as we know, it moved from the hobo encampment under the bridge to, bigger and better places.
Mm-hmm. All right, so it came from Oscar the Grouch. Nate, right. How did Oscar get its name?
Carla Rose, once again, you're going to score massive on this, I know. You're close, but not quite. It wasn't a hobo camp. It was Hoboken, where it came from. And they were going to name it after the person who was financing them. But her name was Beatrice, and they didn't like that, so they went with Oscar.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. Marie, what's the answer?
Of course. Well, Carla Rose was onto something with it being Oscar the Grouch. The person that named the award, they were huge Sesame Street fans, and Oscar the Grouch happened to be their favorite character. However, they were also very, very skeptical of this whole award thing. So they did a really good job of convincing them that they should be called the Oscars, when really he was inferring that they're all trash. Ooh. All
right. Inspired by Oscar the Grouch, they are all trash. So we have Molly with the best hot dog ever, Oscar Mayer. Though Oscar Mayer's wiener, when you're talking about a naked statue, brings up a whole
Well, what do you think the statue is based off of, people? I mean, I didn't want to go there, but
I wish I
have you seen it?
Somebody's
Carla
gold
Rose.
member.
Carla Rose. It's named after Oscar the Grouch. Nate, Hoboken is where it originated. Beatrice was the inventor, named it after Oscar because she didn't like Beatrice. Marie, it was people trying to tell the Academy that they were all trash. So, Alisa, how would you like to score?
We're never getting into the equity now.
So all of these answers were fantastic, and I have really exciting points to hand out. I'm gonna start with Molly, because not only did I like your answer the best, it's a good combo of plausible and funny. I could tell that my random point assigning is maybe starting to get to you a little bit, and I really like your unhinged rapping of the Oscar Mayer wiener song. So I would like to hand out 2,800 points to Molly.
Wow.
And now, take it in. Take your moment.
I'm feeling it. I'm like a soft boiled hot dog right now.
All right.
I have secondary points.
I'm a red snapper.
I want to hand out to Nate because Hoboken made me laugh so hard, and I want to add some intrigue, some stakes for Nate, and I'm going to give you positive 700 points.
Ooh. Oh, he's very nervous.
Oh, you're messing with my lowest score ever.
He just glitched.
I know. All right. I'll start trying so that way I don't do as well.
Step it down, Nate.
So right there, those scores placed Molly in the lead with
Of course.
half a point.
She always is.
Have a point. Have a point. The half a point again.
But is it a sweet or a shiny point?
And
sweet
so
shiny.
where
It's an
did
umami point.
Oscar get its name? The official answer is nobody knows. However,
Okay.
there's a story that an Academy executive thought that the statuette looked like her uncle Oscar.
That's
Which raises other questions. Like, why would her uncle Oscar be hanging out naked in the back room with a sword? Right? I mean,
Found the gold
come
spray
on.
paint.
Goldfinger.
Oh, uncle.
So, we started off with roller skating. Alisa, let's talk about roller skating. How did you get into it during the pandemic? What happened? What got you in there?
I needed to get outside. And a buddy of mine who lives in Philly was coming to Michigan, which is a lot closer to Chicago than Philly is. And she got really into roller skating, and she was like, hey, if you get roller skates and come visit me in Michigan, we can go skating. And then I looked at skating prices or roller skate prices, and I was like, this is an expensive trend. But then I was like, you know what? Nothing matters. So I bought some skates. And yeah, we had a great time. And it turns out all of my years of figure skating in the early 90s in no way prepared me to be an adult to roller skate for the first time. There's like a great roller rink on the south side that is like perfectly intact from like 1982. Like it's been a really fun physical and creative activity for me. So I recommend it to everybody.
We actually, one of our
Yeah.
professors, Randy, is also a roller derby referee. He goes by Carrie Z Whistle. If Randy was here right now, he'd probably be looking really awkward because we're talking about him. So
You know, if I ever did derby, you know what name I came up with? And I'm sure someone else has
please.
thought of this before. Shreddy Ruxpin.
Oh, yeah. Shreddy Ruxpin.
Right?
By saying it, you've copyrighted it.
Yeah,
that is
exactly.
a really good one.
Let the date be known.
Mine's Beatrice Wordley.
From Hoboken.
So Alisa,
under the
you're
bridge.
really into the Oscars. They're your sports. What is your favorite Oscar moment that you can remember at top of your head?
Oh, wow. Yeah, the Oscars they are my Super Bowl. I do get really into it. But I also don't know how the Super Bowl works, so I might be kind of...
You eat a lot of nachos? If you eat a lot of nachos,
does?
then you're doing it right.
It's a lot like the Oscars. It starts, it stops, it lasts for 5.5 hours, and 10
There is a
minutes will
trophy.
take 30. Yeah.
I recently saw a behind-the-scenes video of the... I believe it would be the director of the Oscars making the calls for when they cut to what. During Cuba Gooding Jr.'s winning speech. Spoiler alert, 1994.
I haven't gotten there yet.
There goes Saturday night.
Yeah, if you're not there yet and you're binging of previous Oscars, sorry. But right, his iconic, shouting, just exciting speech, watching the director knowing exactly when to cut to which actor and celebrity. And then it is just like an expletive laden, just cacophony of excitement as they're all like, we nailed it. And I was like, I'm just looking through TikTok, and all of a sudden I'm like very invested in this 60-second clip sobbing. So I guess that's kind of like a behind the scenes.
That's still an Oscar moment, though.
It is an Oscar moment, yeah.
You know, and that's part of the show that we don't get to see.
Yeah.
You know, and I've worked in a director's booth at least enough times to know that I don't want to be there for a show like the Oscars. Like, I had a rough time working the cameras as a little intern in college. The stress of that has to be through the roof.
But I mean, that's what you're there to do. It is the Super Bowl. It is the Olympics. You show up, you do your job, and then you probably party for a week straight, is what I'm guessing.
Yep, after
Obviously.
party.
Yeah. Right after you wake up from your month of sleep.
Exactly.
So speaking of anticipation, you want to know what the answer is for Give Me the Details?
Yes.
So, what change did they make to the ending of Fight Club for the Chinese market? Well, they changed the ending to a caption. Just a caption. I'm going to read this caption to you.
I already don't like it.
Now, I would say spoiler warning, but this literally spoils nothing, right?
Yeah.
Through the clue provided by Tyler, the police rapidly figured out the whole plan and arrested all the criminals, successfully preventing the bomb from exploding. After the trial, Tyler was sent to a lunatic asylum, receiving psychological treatment. He was discharged from the hospital in 2012.
Oh my goodness.
So imagine watching Fight Club and then seeing that end card.
It's ridiculous. You're like, what the?
I like our answers better.
I know this answer because I read about it, but I didn't hear what the author, Chuck Palahniuk, thought about it. What did he think about it?
I think he just found out about it, to be honest with you. So,
interesting.
The studio, it appears that either the studio or the distributor changed it because China didn't.
Doesn't like crazy
China
people?
didn't make the change. It had to be either the distributor or the actual studio itself. Now, the reason it was changed, China has extreme censorship laws. Anything glorifying criminal behavior or anarchy is illegal. It's against the law. So yeah.
All the movies have really shitty endings there.
Don't even think about it.
Speaking of changing the ending, our points are...
I have no idea.
In last place,
No idea.
we have... I'm sorry, Nate. We have myself with negative 1,605.
Nate blew it.
Followed by Nate with negative 493. Next, we have Marie with 1,995 and 1/2 point. We have Carla Rose with 2,105. Alisa with 3,805. And Molly in the lead with 3,805. And 1/2.
Molly.
If
So-
I lose by my own half point, I swear to God.
Rematch. We'll do a rock paper scissors to the death, just like they did to decide Wordle.
Rock, paper, Wordle, I believe it is.
Yeah,
Rock, paper, Wordle. Yeah. Join us when we return for technically correct Nate's Pop Quiz. Only here on Balderdash Academy. Go Dashers. So remember to like and subscribe to the video. Also remember that we have options available if you'd like to support the show directly. You can show your school pride with merch from our store. We're also doing live shows, either live improv comedy, game shows, custom experiences. You can find all that online at balderdashacademy.com. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. Go Dashers!
Go Dashers!
Go Dashers!